Welcome back to another AGMaker tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to use an easy RPG Maker-like messaging system called Dialogic in your AGMaker projects. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so here I am in the benchmark sample, and I want to add an easy system for dialogue. So what I'm going to recommend, and what I've ported to AGMaker, is called Dialogic 2. Alright, so if you're unfamiliar with that, at the guild website here, I have a Baz tutorial plugin hub. You can click on that. You can see one of them is this Baz Dialogic link, which is Dialogic 2, an RPG Maker-like messaging system. So you're going to click on that, and on the forum post, I just have a brief explanation of it, but it's actually on my GitHub because that's where I kind of forked it. And so then you just click on here, and you'll go right here, you'll click code, click download zip. There'll also be, if it's a new release, which I think there will be a new release at the time of this video is releasing, you can go here, and this is where you could download the source as well. So when you download it, you're going to get it in a zip. You're going to unzip it. You're going to see all of this. The only thing that you really need is the add-ons folder. So you can just copy the add-ons folder, and then you can go to your project, which is this one, and then you will copy it right into here. Now, it won't overwrite anything else if you have stuff on it, but it will add all the necessary folders. So that's all you really have to do, and then boom, you have it. So you can see that I've already done that with this one. You can see I have Dialogic right here, and then here is the particular part that I linked to AGMaker, Baz Dialogic link. And so how do we use this now? So there is a little bit of setup. You go to project settings, and then under the plugins tab here, just click on to enable the Dialogic plugin. Now, the one thing is that it is going to take a little bit of time. Just took a few seconds there. Click close. If you do have any errors that pop up right here, just go to project, reload current project. It's a pretty common Godot thing when you're adding in new plugins. And then we'll just let this reload here. And now we're ready to start with Dialogic. You can see that we have this new Dialogic thing pop up right here. You can click on it, and we just have a blank slate of what to do. First thing I recommend doing is going to your settings and going down to text. And right here is where you're going to select your input for doing text. So currently this project, I'm just going to use the B one because that is what makes this guy attack, and I'm just going to use the simple inputs. Now you can do some really cool things here, and these are just all options that you'll want to read through. Another one I'll show you is the choices right here. You can have choices appear instantly. You can have them appear after delay or after another click. So you got some really cool choices. If you do a delay, you can say what the delay is and things like this. You can auto focus the first choice or not. I am going to show you how to set up choices as well. So that's really the general setup that you need to do right away is put an input action, and then you can just look at choices if you want. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, we have to set up another thing, and that is a style. Now, a style is going to be like your text box, and whether there's a portrait there or not. So let's just add one with a portrait, because I just want to give a complete showcase of this. I'm going to add, and they make it really easy. You can add pre-made styles, all right? So you have a speaker text box style, you have a visual novel style that can come with this, or you have this text bubble style. Now I'm going to show you this one right here with the face on it, and I'm just going to click use. And from right here, I like to add a new folder called Dialogic, and this is going to be where I keep all my styles and my characters and things like this. You'll definitely want to organize this however you want. But this will just be called my main style, and I'm just going to save it. All right, so I have my main style. I can update this however I want. I'm just going to kind of bring this in here, if I can grab it. There we go. And just to show you what it comes with choices. So there are center choices. And again, there's just all these options that you get to go through. But that's basically all we need to set up. And we have a text box, a portrait, and choices. All right. So the next thing I want to do is set up a character for a portrait. So we're going to go to character here. We're going to create a new character. I'm going to create it in my Dialogic folder. I'm just going to say that this is the player. And we're just going to hit save. Now, the thing that I need to do is add a portrait. So we're going to add this one. It's just going to be called normal player or player normal, or however you would do this. So this would be normal. You might have a sad, happy, things like that. Here's where you can have your typing sound, some more styles. Here's a portrait. We'll set the default portrait once we add one. So the one thing about this is we need to add a portrait. So we're going to select this image right here, and we're going to go to the main, and we'll just use the AGMaker icon right here. All right. So there's a lot more to go into, but basically this is all you need to do. And then you just select what the default one is if you want one, and then you put it right here. And that's it. So settings, do your input, style, make a pre-made style, go to your character, make a portrait or two if you need them. And then the last thing that you need to do is actually make the messages. All right. And this is done in the timeline. So let's just say that the first message I want is going to have a little bit of choices and a little bit of options. So I'm going to click on this one where it says add a timeline. And normally, well, just kind of depends where you want this, but I'll just put it in the Dialogic for this tutorial video. And I'll just call this message 1. And the next thing that we have is we have a bunch of options right here. Now, these are what make this RPGmaker light when I say that, because we have just real quick text to add, we have choices, we have labels and jump to labels. These are all things that AGMaker or that RPGmaker have. You can also play audio and change some things like that. Now, there are some things that we can't use, like for example, there are variables, but they don't save with AGMaker. So just be aware, not everything is compatible, but I have made a lot compatible with AGMaker. All right, so the first thing we're doing is we're doing just a normal text right here. Now, these are characters. These are, from what I understand, like busts and things like that. So you can add those. I'm just showing you the face on the text box. So I'm just going to select this as the player, and it's going to say, hello there. And then we're going to add another text, which is going to be the text for our choices. And this is going to be called, what do you want to do? All right. So then I add another one, and we'll just add a choice and then another choice. Well, actually, these can't be in the same one, but let's just make this first choice say, I want to eat. And then let's make another choice. I want to dance. And then another choice, not in there. It looks like you have to click this and then go to, nope. How did I do it last time? Was I in here and then say a choice? Yeah, okay. And then, and by the way, you can drag these around. I didn't have to see how it was embedded right here. I could just drag it out, and then I can say, I want to make a game. All right. Now, one cool thing about Dialogic is you can go to text editor, and if you memorize the text and the symbols, you can actually just type this out however you want, and it will take it. And then you can go back to visual editor. So it makes it really nice when you need to copy paste for localization or something like that. Really handy. All right. So now let's go back to the visual editor here. And so we just have these choices. Now, how do we use these choices? One thing I do want to point out is at the end of this text, what automatically happens is there's an end message that plays. So this end timeline, it plays no matter what. So you don't need one at the end of your timeline. Where this would be nice is if, let's just say that I want to eat, we wanted that one to end the timeline. But then if we go down here, we actually have more text for if these two are selected, it would go this text and then end the timeline. Whereas if I clicked I want to eat, it would end the timeline right there and it wouldn't show this part. So I do want to show that there is an end timeline, and very rare case you might need it, but anyway, it will automatically play that at the end of a timeline. Okay, so let's make sure this one's player as well. Okay, so now how do we use this with AGMaker? Because we only have visual scripting, and so we need to link it somehow. Well, that's exactly where my Dialogic link node comes in. So let's go to scripting, and let's go to the player here, make sure that it's selected with the script. And what we're going to do is go up to the player node here, click on add, and we're going to type in Baz, and it should just pull up Dialogic link for you right there. And when you click on this, there is a couple options you have. So first off, the game object is owner. It's checked by default. This is in fact the owner of this scene, the player, and that is the one that has the visual scripting. So if you had another game object that had the visual script that's going to be handling it, then you would need to uncheck this and select that thing. But by default, and in most cases, it's most likely going to be the owner. The next one to know is the timeline is node name. So what I mean by that is this name right here, message one, an easy thing that you can do is you can just rename this to message one, and it's going to know what timeline to play. If for some reason you need a bit more organization and you can't name it that, then you will uncheck this and tell what the timeline name is. Okay. So there's a couple different options. The way that I ended up using it was just always renaming it the node to what the timeline was, and so I figured this would just be the easiest way to do it. Okay. So the next thing that you need to understand is that what this is doing is when you throw a signal in your visual script, it will start the message for you, and then it will also connect up the conditions and the end of the timeline so that when it's done running, you can have access to conditions in your link as a signal, in the form of a signal. Okay. So what do I mean by that? All right. So let's go to this one where this is input to attack. And I'm just going to real quickly use this. So you can go to actions and you can use an emit signal. Message one. All right. So the same name as that, or the name that you give it in the script, whatever one you want that to be the name of the timeline that's playing. All right. So you click add, and that is all you need to do. This will now emit that signal. Okay. So let's just test this out and just show you that this is what it does. So when I press attack, it is going to show the message, and boom, we see the portrait show up. We see the name that we gave the player. I guess I should have capitalized it, but that's fine. And then the little bit of text that we gave it. And then if I press X again, now you would have to pause the player, which is totally doable in ActionGameMaker visual scripting. So you would pause the player and then show this, and then you would unpause. All right. So we have hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there. Now, what is happening here? There's a few things. One, it's just at the end of the finished animation, it's going back to idle, in which case it's detecting that the input is going back to there and it's just recalling the timeline. All right. So we need a way to only go back once the timeline has ended. And luckily, that's what I've provided. So we can go to here, and instead of this finished animation, we want it to stay. We're going to go to add a signal, and we're going to say by name, and we're going to say timeline ended. All right. So timeline ended, and we're going to click add. Now, and this is going to be the name always for when the timeline ends. So one thing I do recommend is that you go here, you save as in the Dialogic here, save this as timeline ended, and click save. All right. So now you always have one. I wanted to make one by default, but I didn't know if it would mess up UIDs and all these kind of things, so I just left it there. You'll have to make one real quick if you want one. All right. So now if we play test this, I'll be able to go through the messaging. And then when it ends, does do you want to do? Okay, I meant what do you want to do? Now you can do this. You can also use the mouse to select, which is really nice. And then let's just, at the moment, we can just choose any one. And then it goes back to the normal, in which I can call up the dialogue again. And then boom, there we go. So that's how that works. That's how super simple that is to set up your thing. You add a node with the timeline name. You make sure the timeline exists and you set it up correctly. And then in the visual scripting, you call it with the emit signal, the message that you want. And then you just make sure that your timeline ended is the link out to pause. Okay, well, that's great. Now we want choices. All right, that's the next thing. And so now we can add these things right here. And this is going to be very simple. Choice one, choice two, and choice three. I think that's all I gave on the thing. All right. And what this is going to do is it's going to print, and we'll just say choice one. This one is choice two. And this one is choice three. All right. And we could still have an end timeline, and it could be the default per se, or the cancel, or however you want to do that. But let's just say we also have these choice options as well. So we're going to add a link. We're going to go to a signal detected right here. We're going to add a name. This one is going to be timeline choice. And this one's going to take an argument, a numeric argument. equal to, let's just say 1. So choice 1 for this. And then we'll copy. This will make them unique, so we can just go in here and change the values. And you might even save these. So for example, you could save this as choice 3, and now it would be a choice 3. So then when you wanted to implement this, you could just hit 1 like this, go to the Dialogic here, click choice 3, and go like this. I also think that you can go like this, quick load, and then have choice 3 right there. So if you wanted to real quickly do that. But they're all set up. Choice 1 leads here, choice 2 leads here, and choice 3 leads here. So now how do we signal this out of Dialogic? Well, in Dialogic here, we'll select this one, and we have a signal. So in this one, I'm going to put 1, and that is going to represent choice 1. I'm going to go to this one and represent, and go to choice 2. And I got to make sure that this is inside here. There we go. And then just to show you real quick, you can go to the text editor right here, and you can see how it's laid out. And then you can real quickly just copy paste that and go to 3. And that's what I mean. Sometimes this is simpler. I like this text editor sometimes, right? And boom, there it is, text 3. So now this is all that we need. And unfortunately, it is hard coded like this. So if it's choice 1, you'll need to just type in 1, 2, 3, and as many choices as you need. And then we'll hit playtest right here. We'll be able to go back to those choices here. And then we should see prints down here as to which one we're choosing. So I want to eat, I want to dance, I want to make games. Boom, I'm going to choose I want to make games. And you can see that it went to choice 3, right? We reset this and go to that. Choice 1, reset this, go to I want to dance, and boom, choice 2. All right. So I'm not going to go into exactly how to customize your styles and things like this, at least not in this video. I did want to make a video on how to get up and running using it, because it really is the easiest way to get messages out there right away. So if you got like a jam that you're doing or something like this, don't worry about a text system. Download this Dialogic 2 for AGMaker and just go with it. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can comment below. Official forums Discord will get you figured out. That said, I'll see you at the next video.